do all right.
Oh man, I disagree, but all right, we'll pretend that that's true. Oh. Speaking of, welcome in. No faces like that. He's Barry Spears. I'm Louis Rose. Called SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. Appreciate you jumping in with us each and every Friday ahead of the card on Saturday. Of course, right now we are racing there in Cyprus ahead of the move to Del Mar. One last weekend here at Los Alamitos ahead of the move. The Great 2 Lady M is the feature on the card for tomorrow. Barry, good day to you in the new digs. Congratulations, by the way. Hope things are going well with you, friend. And happy 4th of July. Why not?
Always. Thank you, my brother. Hanging out, trying to stay cool. It's really hot everywhere.
Literally everywhere. That's right. Literally everywhere. Yeah.
You know me. No shoes, no socks.
No problem.
Just chilling.
No problem. That's right. No problem for Barry Spears there. Bring on the heat for sure. Yeah, we're going. Our neighborhood fireworks are today, and the heat index is going to be
Louis fireworks. I call them Louis fireworks.
Well, that's tomorrow. But no, the neighborhood fireworks are tonight, and the heat index at like 9 p.m. is going to be 108, something like that. Ooh, so your boy will be doing some weight loss around 9 p.m. With the neighbors. And so if anyone comes up for a hug, that's on you, not on me. All right, Barry, let's get to it. The Great Lady M tomorrow there at Los Alamitos. But of course, we go through the entirety of the card. If you've never joined us on the program before, you may hear things like Barry's boring play of the day. We definitely have one of those for this show. We'll go inside the mind of Spears at some point. I apologize in advance for how that will take place and how we get there. And unfortunately, no Louis Jeff Mullins play of the day. Did not work out for this episode, but I'm sure by the time we get back to Del Mar, you'll be hearing about those as well. Thank you for hanging out with us. You're certainly welcome to follow along and comment anywhere that you are watching. We'll include it as part of our broadcast as well. Move on to race 1 there at Los Alamitos on Saturday. We are on the dirt for every single race there at Los Alamitos over their 1 mile oval. We'll start going 5.5 furlongs. And at our level that we always love, the 6250 claimer. Not 3 lifers in here, Barry. 3 and up, 13,000 on the line. Odd race. You're an odd fellow. You go first. What you got?
Odd fellow, indeed. I'll own that. I'll own that.
I've called you way worse. Yeah, for sure. That's right.
Yeah, I've been called way worse, even online. But yeah, no, this is a typical Los Alamitos race. You got some of the horses that run at night and some of the horses that run the day, and it looks like the daytime runners might have the little bit of the advantage here. There's a few of them. There's really 3 horses in this race: the 2, the 4, and the 5 that have been kind of mingling in that afternoon company in the daytime. And I think they're going to end up dominating this race. I do like the 2 here. Best of all, James J. Braddock. This horse ran a pretty good race last time, got claimed by Jesus Nunez, who does okay off the claim. But I think this is the right spot to bring this horse back. The speed figures line up. The buyers, that last one in particular is pretty good in comparison to the rest of these horses. 3 to 1's a fair price, so I'm going to take that on James J. Braddock.
James J. Braddock, of course, the famous boxer defeated. Can you name the famous other boxer that he defeated in 1935, Barry, by chance?
Ooh, no, I can't. I wasn't around in 35. Unfortunately.
That's all right. That's not true. Max Bayer is who we were looking for. No, you were. As we get older and older on this show, 2, 5, and 4 for Barry. Agree on 2 of those. I'll go 4 on top here, Barry. With the key is unity. This is the Heredia Orduña Rojas connection that we see more at night than we do during the day, but this is a bit of a specialist for the course. 0 for 3 during the daytime meet, but has been performing very well at night, and I expect this one to be part of the equation toward the end here. Again, 4, 2, and 3. Largely agree with your assessments of James J. Braddock. Sir Nano in here makes a lot of sense. And Barry, what's interesting actually about today, tomorrow, and Sunday there at Los Alamitos, Edgar Payeras has a serious shot at the jock title for the 3-week meet on the thoroughbred side of things. And as 2 guys who are not afraid to bet on Saturday and Sunday nights at Los Alamitos. That's a name we know very well for piloting sprinters there over this the course in Cyprus. So an interesting thing to watch there as we get toward the end of the meet, as I believe he has a 1-win lead and has been, by the way, in the top 2 in 12 of his 23 mounts at Los Alamitos. So play against Edgar at your own peril, especially in these sprints where he really knows when to tell horses to go, and certainly does a great job of piloting them there at Los Al. That's the opener, of course, starts an early pick 5. Every race wager there at Los Alamitos largely has a $1 base. That includes the pick 4, which starts here in race 2. A 50-cent pick 5, though, there in race 1 if you are looking for a wager of a smaller denomination. $23,000 on the line in a maiden 30 over 5.5 furlongs here, Barry. In race 2, claiming price is $30,000, as I just said. I thought an interesting one here, and you and I landed on a couple of the same horses, but on top went very different directions. I went to the 7 horse on top here in race 2, Barry, which is Johnny's Cap. And I am simply doing the MSI Jaramillo thing here. We're throwing the blinkers back on, which this horse ran much better with last time that the horse had them on at 4.5 against Open Company there at Santa Anita, finishing 3rd under Tiago Pereira. I'm just deciding to draw a line through the last effort, Barry, and I don't know if that's fair or not, but this is a horse that I'm going to go ahead and do that with. Jorge Parabon's hit it 2 of his last 9 runners, throwing the blinkers on, and actually has a lot more experience with 2-year-olds than most of the trainers in this field as well. So go ahead and try the son of acclamation here, 2-year-old gelding, see what he can do on Sunday. You and I largely agree about the next 2 horses here. The 5 horse in here is kicking it for Felix Gonzalez, a second-time starter. Lopez gets the start here, was coming out of maiden 50 company here at Los Al earlier in this meet. Will turn around on 2 weeks rest and go ahead and run tomorrow. Nice work from the gate the other day, and second-timers I always love in these kinds of spots. A son of Gradar, in case you're watching, Mike Gandolfo. Hope things are going well. It's an old joke on this show. Holy moly. There's got to be someone who's been hanging out with a happy hour for like 6 years who just heard Gradar.
Somebody. One person, right?
Like Mike in Texas or something, just fell out of his chair, something like that over that. But I'll go 4, 7, and 5 here in this one, Barry. You went 4, 7, and 5 in here. The 4 horse in here is Smoke'em Wicked. What do you like about the Monroy piloted son of Smoke'em?
Yeah, I like the drop in class last time and the improvement in position. This horse was a lot more involved, and I think just a little bit more of a class relief is in order, and that's what they're doing here, dropping in for 30. And I think this is exactly what the doctor ordered. The horse clearly has a little bit of talent at this level, and should be a better price than the 7 Johnny's Cap, and that's why I went here instead of there. Johnny's Cap looks all bit the favorite. Like you said, will get a lot of attention because of the Jaramillo angle with Parabon, who does like to get some speed into his horses. But I think Smoke'em Wicked is a little bit under the radar. That last race was a little bit more of an improvement. The slight drop should be just what the doctor ordered. So we're going to get that one in the winner circle, 3-1. We might get a little bit higher than that. I think Johnny's Cap is actually buried here.
Yeah, no, I think you're probably right about that part, especially that Smoke'em Wicked might be better than like maybe even like a 9-2 kind of number. I think that's on the table.
It's possible
in here, because I think there are other angles that people could like as well with some of these other runners. Maybe you go to a Jeff Bondy trainee with Aguilar aboard, something like that. There's some spots to spread around the money here, and I think that Smoke'em Wicked could definitely drift up the tote board. Talking Saturday racing at Los Alamitos here on SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. His name's Barry. My name is Louie. Thanks for hanging out with us as part of our programming here. An 8-claimer awaits us in race 3. We're going 5 furlongs on the dirt there at Los Al, 17,000 in the kitty here. This is on the filly and mare side, 3 and up. Barry, where did you land in the next numbered race? We got a 9-5 favorite with Noki breaking from the 2.
Yeah, I thought Noki really overlays this field. They're just much the best on paper. They're going to get a setup. There's quite a bit of speed from the outside here and in between. They should get the absolute run of this race. I think 9-5 would be a gift if you get 9-5 on Noki here. I honestly, I would push all in if Noki's 9-5 at post time, but doesn't seem to be too much in their way, at least Spire speed figure wise. This horse towers over everybody else and should run like it on the track.
I know she doesn't have a bunch of great wins, but I was looking at her, Barry, just based on, she's won 3 races. She's been second 5 times. Just based on the breeding itself, 5 second place finishes last year in 5 starts. This is a quality roadman to Medaglia d'Oro. Damn, is it worth $8,000 to just go get a broodmare? I don't know, man. I'm looking at that price.
Worth a shot. You might get a runner out of it.
some of those connections, go find someone you like. I don't know, like a Seize the Grave for 25 or something. I don't know. I'm just spending other people's money. But no, I thought she was really interesting. Totally agree that she lays over the field here, Barry. I went 2, 3, and 4 here. Honorable Gal will break from the 3. Is a Los Al specialist, has been running there, and also does her training there, and has been training very well leading into this one. And I think can absolutely be part of the equation for this one. Was last seen at a 12-5 claimer running third. Should get a little bit of relief here and get back into the kind of company that she should be in as she moves forward. 2, 3, and 4 for me means that Charmed Dream comes third. A bit chalky for me here for Jorge Farias and his team. This is one that if you draw a line through the last race at the 16 level and go back to the 5 and 6250 level, very, very successful horse at that kind of level, should be in much better company for this one. Farias also, by the way, a massive first-timer number for him, 29%. And this horse blew out a workout the other day at Los Al in 33 and 2, Barry. My goodness. So that four brings any of that stuff, any of those forms as far as his numbers, that speed. I mean, if this horse gets out in 33 and whatever, very likely winner on the card tomorrow at Los Alamitos. You went 2, 6, and 3. The 6 horse in here, Barry, is Elegant Sway, 6-1. Really good number in a small field.
Yeah, this horse has actually pretty good races on the dirt at Los Al that are very competitive in this field. That, you know, they're kind of spotty and tossed in there. The last one you'll see on the page is September 21st, 2025. This horse came from way out of it and finished second. They were 3-1 that day, and they fit with these horses. I'm going to forgive that last race in the new barn for the new connections, just a spin over the track. And I think they're going to come running this time. You'll see a much, much better improved horse this time.
Race 3 in the books there. Pick 6 will start in race 4. This is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network, hanging out with Barry Spears. My name's Louis Urbo. Race 4 is another claimer. 16 is the purchase price and 22 is the purse. 3 and up in open company here. Essentially non-winners of a race since May are allowed a couple of pounds, which means everybody's, and this group is able to take that allowance here. Barry, I went to the 8 horse here in race 4. Going to be breaking from the outside is Jimmy Blue Jeans, and this is a trusting a turf horse on the Los Al dirt angle for me. It's a horse that's only ever been on the dirt once, but frankly, 29 starts on the turf and 14 of those in the money. So essentially a 50% horse at hitting the board, gets to drop in for this kind of price. And I think it would be very easy to look and see that this is a for sale sign on Jimmy Blue Jeans for trainer Librado Barosio and his team there at Cali Kid Stables. But I don't care. This is a runner. This horse cares. The last workout is an indication of exactly that. And I think the horse will be able to get the distance over the mile there at Los Al and be a part of the equation at the end. 8, 4, and 2 for me, Barry, in this one is very different than you went in your direction. You went to the 3 on top with Mongolian Max. Good to see the Genevesh name on our Genbat Enevesh, excuse me, name on our forum here. What do you like about the Mongolian trainee here?
Well, the idea in this race is I thought that there's a lot of speed, especially from the outside. You got Jimmy Blue Jeans, who, albeit has to go pedal to the metal and get to the front. Big Coop is probably his best races have been come when he's forwardly placed and really close to the lead. Grandissimo will probably have to force the pace too. And also the 2 Duran. Now, if we get 3 of those to go, that's great. If we get 2, that's all right. But I still think that the pace is going to be quick, and that sets it up very well for the 3 Mongolian Max. The last race I'm going to give, a pass to and kind of strike a line through it because they were outside pretty much the whole way and didn't run poorly, just didn't get much going. Was claimed out of that into the Miati barn, who is actually doing okay coming into this meet. But I think this race really sets up for a horse like Mongolian Max, who's very consistent. He pretty much runs the same race every time, while the others really don't do that. I mean, I would normally like a horse like Duran, but very inconsistent, needs the lead type, and I don't think this is going to be an easy trip for them. So we put Mongolian Max on top with a little bit of Quezon and Duran underneath. Quezon is a real big drop down. Probably shouldn't even be in this race. But their running style is really leaves them up against it a lot of the times. You see this horse makes pretty good money, but just finishes runner-ups a lot. I think that's probably what's going to happen again. Although they do have the class and back class to win a race like this, I just think their running style is just too tough to overcome.
3, 6, and 2 for Barry in race 4 tomorrow at Los Alamitos. I'll go 8, 4, and 2. That means I've got Grandissimo 8-1 here for Alba Loscano, and Brian Cunningham, not a name we hear too often, but does have a win already in this meet at Los Al. This one last seen in a 10 claimer twice. And both of those were in second place efforts. And before that, in a 10 claimer, in second place before that at a mile at Santa Anita in a 10 claimer, and won. And so this is just a horse, Barry, 5 times in the top 2 going a mile. And I feel like in this race, essentially what I looked for were horses that were willing to get the 8 furlongs and be decent in that company. I'll take 8-1 on that kind of runner all the time. If it happens to drift up, which I don't think it will, frankly, given the horse's good performance at a mile, I mean, this might be a 10-1, 12-1 kind of horse that would offer a ton of value early in this sequence. So I'd be looking, kind of watching that one. And I agree about Duran, by the way. This is one that I would love to love, but I simply don't. And I'm trying to figure out why I don't. But, 3 wins at the distance, lifetime, 7 times in the money out of 12 runs. Do expect that horse to be there by the end. And it does set up, by the way, the other main competitor, I think, for the riding title at Los Al right now will be Armando Ayuso, who has a very good mount in the Great Lady M to count toward his win total. So he and Edgar Payeras, this might be one of those races that Armando's got to pick off if he's going to pick off the riding title as well. Moving on to race 5, start of the late pick 5 there tomorrow at Los Alamitos. This is SoCal Saturdays. Barry Spears and Louis Rabeau hanging out with you on the Horse Racing Happy Hour. Race 5 is another mile race. 12.5 on 12.5 is the claiming price, 15 the purse for Calbred maidens. And these are 3-year-olds and up on the filly and mare side of things. Once again, an odd race. We go to our odd fellow in Barry Spears. You're going a little bit off the board here. You're going a little bit off the board here. I studied this pick, Barry, when I saw it on the show sheet. You were about 3 races ahead of me in our prep for the show today. And I studied
no
this
idea
race.
why.
Correct. But Barry, I also wrote on the show sheet, this late sequence is awesome. It is tricky. But also if you do think, for example, that there is a single at any point in this sequence, play the pick 5 because it's the 50-cent base, the takeout's lower. This is where you're going to make your most money. Try to start here in race 5. Who you got?
Well, bottom level claimers at any track usually yield a lot of big prices in races. And I think this race is no exception. This is a state bred maiden claimer for 12,500 going a mile. It just automatically spells chaos to me. I like to go fishing in these kind of races. And that's really how I landed on the 8, Mo Cheeky. I'm going to forgive that last race. They didn't get out of that gate very quickly. And it was on the turf, probably the surface that this horse didn't really want in the first place. Tried to get a race into him. I can appreciate that. Leonard Powell does very well second time out most of the time. And the key here is the blinkers on and getting Armando Ayuso. Attracting basically the top rider at the track to come ride a 12.5 claimer. You got to think that this horse has to be somewhat live for them to get on this horse. I mean, where are you going to go after this? So for them to get on this horse on this day just stands out to me as a horse that's going to be live for whatever reason. I mean, the workout pattern is very good. And I think this horse is just going to improve off of that first start and be a decent price, especially on the stretch out. We're going with Mo Cheeky on top for sure.
Go the 8 horse here, homebred for the Ciaglia Racing folks. Still own the horse, at least right now. Someone could pay 12.5 for this horse tomorrow. That could happen for sure. So 8, 4, and 6 for Barry there to start the late pick 5. Race 5, of course, as well tomorrow. It's at Los Al. 10, 6, and also eligible for me, Barry. How does that sound? And also eligible in California. Let's go. Let's go. Little AE in California. What's up? But I'll go with the 10 horse on top here. Yes, this horse will have to do some work before we get to the first turn, but that's exactly what this horse did last time in its first time dirt routing at Santa Anita, I thought showed a lot of acumen, and I love a horse doing something for the second time. This horse gets to go routing at the 12.5 level, over a mile on the dirt for the second time here. Keeps Ricky Gonzalez, who had this horse running very well last time. Bitter Truth ran off the page last time, if you remember that race, Barry.
Yes.
In the stretch there. I expect the fractions to be a little bit quicker here, so I think the horse is going to have to pick it up just a little bit, but the 4-1 price for this this daughter of Mr. Big makes a lot of sense in this spot. I went to the 6-horse second here, Barry, and Blame It on Abby, almost certainly going to be the favorite when we get to post time. This is a Peter Miller, tried the dirt, tried the turf, tried distance, hasn't tried distance. And this is one that almost broke its maiden, if you remember, back in August of last year at Del Mar, just totally ran out of gas in that race under Juan Hernandez. It was right at the lead and then just dropped out. I think almost to last place in that one. Yeah, just faltered in the falterest of ways, but has hit the board twice since then, a 4th place finish as well, sprinting. And so we're going to try the mile here. I think it makes sense for this daughter of Blame. She's 3 years old. It makes sense, I think, to go ahead and get some extra distance here. Honor Code on the damn side makes sense as well. But boy, the price at 9 to 5, I did not like. Barry could not put this horse on top in this kind of field. And then on the outside, if she gets in here, is Smoke 'em Hot Girl, obviously a daughter of Smoke 'em. I thought showed a lot last June in a previous barn, going a mile at Santa Anita. Finished third twice, 2 different jocks. We get Bautista here, who's going to get a little bit of a weight allowance. Felix Gonzalez, man, this will be an interesting one for him if this horse can get in, because he's pretty good in maiden claimers. And I'll just be fascinated if this one draws in. Smoke 'em Hot Girl, fascinating to me, because I think this is one that's going to have to come from off the pace. So the outside post position doesn't bother me at all for this one. So I'll take 10, 6, and 12 here. Barry, you had the 4 second in your handicapping. What did you like about Embracing Autism in this spot?
Yeah, I actually liked that last race they ran on June 20th at Los Al. It wasn't that bad of an effort. Twisted Humor and Perfect Smile kind of just ran off in front of them. But this horse sort of ran like a horse that needed to get more distance. You'll notice in the form, it's a little old school, because trainers don't do this as much as they used to, is bring horses up through the claiming ranks or the ranks of class. And sometimes they'll do that, and they used to rise them and stretch them out in distance. And you would see a lot of the times the horses that were better going longer ran sort of evenly in shorter races, and in 5.5 furlong, 6 furlong races, you'll see they were 5th the whole way, 5 lengths from the lead the whole time. And that's sort of what Embracing Autism did. And you'll notice that Cesar Belmont is riding back. I'm not sure if they got taken off. I mean, you can read into that, where they were replaced by Armando Ayuso on the 8, but still ends up here. And I think this horse is not without a shot. If I'm Cesar Belmont and I can't ride the 8, I would definitely be riding the 4. He lands here, makes a lot of sense. I think this horse is on the improve, should be a decent price, probably a little bit more than that, 6-1 too.
And the works have been very emblematic of a horse that's going to fire on Saturday as well. So hopefully get that kind of number for the 4 Embracing Autism out there out west. That was your trip inside the mind of Spears for this week as well. We move on to race 6.
Getting that one out.
At our age, Barry, many things are like that. There's an allowance in the next race. $16,000 on the line, a $6,250 starter allowance here. 5.5 is the sprinting distance, filly and mare side of things here. Barry, I'll go first here. I thought this one, for example, this is as puzzly a race as we've had since we've started doing this show. This was awesome field. You think it's that easy? Really?
Yeah.
Does that much better?
Yes, much better than these horses.
You go first.
Yeah, Ufta all the way. I just don't see how they can beat this horse. Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
You see those 3 races, back in early January, February, and December of last year. Any one of those races beats these. And I think, this is sort of a drop down in class from that $30,000 stake at Los Al at night and the time before that, where they're just not quicker than probably, I'm guessing, some of the quarter horses that are in there. Now they're back with regular thoroughbreds, And I just think this horse is just going to run these off their feet. There's nobody that can hang with them at all, not even close. So Ufta is probably going to be 1-9, and hopefully moving us on in the pick 5.
Okay. All right. A single for Barry. I'm going to try the 5 here. I'm doing the Barry Spears, Falabella, Edgar Payeras for Charles Treese. How about that? That's a name we like.
That's my guy.
One last out at a length and a half at the distance. They go ahead and claim this one. First time claimers. Not a lot of, frankly, let's be honest about Treese's part. We don't have a lot of evidence as far as that, about 12 of those total. But most of his runners are in sprint races. They win at 12% doing that. I get Edgar Payeras here. I get a horse that's won twice at the track. Finished in a $1.04 flat last time. Probably going to have to be a touch faster than that to go ahead and get it done on Saturday. But I agree with Barry. Ufta, a major player here. I also agree with you that Feisty Matoli has a real shot to hit the board here. It's been mostly in 4.5 kinds of races at lower levels than this. Payeras does jump off, to take on the 5 horse in here, which to me is kind of a giveaway. But this daughter Matoli should be part of the equation as well. So 5, 1, and 2 for me. Barry 1, and everybody else for him here in race 6. Moving on to race 7. Starts late pick 3 here at Los Alamitos tomorrow on Saturday. It is SoCal Saturdays on the Horse Racing Happy Hour Podcast Network. Louis Rabeau and Barry Spears hanging out with you. Back to the state ranks here on the filly and mare side of things. $51,000 on the line here. We continue a great late sequence with 6.5 furlongs on the dirt, Barry. This is fillies and mares 3 and up, essentially non-2 lifers in this one. It's some names that if you watch this show or follow Southern California racing, certainly you will know. Tequila and Therapy is in here. Redheaded Reba is in here. Troisième Étoile and Dory Miller are in here as well. A bit of a get back together of the Calbreds that we follow so often, Barry. There you are. But an odd-numbered race, you get to go first here. You laid out 3 horse. Tell us about Redheaded Reba.
Yeah, I'm going to give her another shot. I picked her last time. She ended up going off favored and didn't get out of the gate. She really had a tough time getting out of the gate, and that was all she wrote. Finally gets some post relief, and I think that might make the difference. Having her inside might be just better all the way around for her breaking and everything else. I mean, Bessie Coleman will probably break well. Troisième Étoile does not typically break well, so I think that's okay in this spot, and it'll give a Redhead Reba a chance to get position early and strike late. I'm going to give her another shot here. She definitely fits with this group. Just needs a little luck.
3, 2, and 5 for Barry there. So Redheaded Reba 5-1. Tiago Pereira keeps them out there. MSL Jaramillo will be aboard Troisième Étoile here for Doug O'Neill. This is one that we saw in the Malaire last out. I think class-wise makes a ton of sense, but trying to dirt sprint for the first time.
Yeah, it's tough. It's a real tough game, but Doug O'Neill likes to try a whole lot of things with his horses. This makes a lot of sense, especially when they thought they could go long, in a stake race, in a state bred stake, then they drop in back to this level, going shorter. They might be tough, but I still think their running style isn't ideal for this trip and this track. So that's why I think Redhead Reba might get the jump on them and get the victory here.
Barry and I both have the 5/3 in our handicapping. I'm going to try a long shot in this spot. Bessie Coleman will break from the inside for Steve Miotti and Armando Ayuso, and she's been second and first in her most 2 recent runs, and those are essentially of her recent experience. She was largely off in 2025. She was off from the 1st of January until the 22nd of February in 2026 this year, where she's been running as a 5-year-old, and she's been very good this year, frankly, especially in her last 2 races where they discovered she's willing to sprint on the dirt, man, and those were both at Santa Anita, one at 5.5, where she just missed, and then last out, where she ended up going ahead and getting the win. I think a lot of the same kinds of runners in this race that she faced the last 2 times out, and I expect her to be really competitive here. Frankly, those were against Kentucky and Florida and other in New York and whatever else breds in those races. Gets to drop back into state company here, even though she is a Cal bred. And I think at an 8-1 kind of price, and I get Armando, I think it makes a lot of sense here. I agree with you about Redheaded Reba. We both have Misty Hart, the 5, third in our handicapping here, and this is one that won at Los Al in the early part of the meet, is coming back on 2 weeks rest for Van Belvoir. I would probably have this horse a little bit higher in my handicapping if Belvoir's horses weren't won for their last 31 going back to back in races. It's just not an angle that happens for his horses. And so for the Belvoir barn. And so that is just not something that happens. So I'll have that 5, probably picking up the pieces more likely than anything. 1, 3, and 5 for me here. And of course, Barry in race 7 will be 3, 2, and 5. Moving on to the late double there at Los Alamitos on Saturday. Starts with the Great Lady M, the grade 2 event. Barry, can you name the other grade 2 event at Los Alamitos?
The Los Al Derby.
We were looking for the Starlet. All right. The Great Lady M.
Oh, that was close.
6.5 furlongs on
same
the dirt.
day, right? It's on the same day.
Different weekends. 2 for $200,000 on the line. Fillies and Mare 3s and up are welcome to enter in this one. And Barry, we get the return of Sweet Azteca, her debut on the track here for 2026. We only got to see her twice last year. She went ahead and won both of those races. And has now settled into the Richard Baltus barn. She's established as a 3-5 favorite here. And there's a name in here, Barry. And if we need a reminder about how tough of a game this is, there's a $1.8 million purchase sitting in gate 7 for this one called Noonie. She is an $8,500 breeding job, a daughter of Win Win Win, that they paid $1.8 million for at the OBS March sale back in 2024. She's in here. Of course, we saw her on the Oaks Trail, saw her at the Del Mar Debutante, those kinds of things. She was the winner of the Sorrento at 6 furlongs before they decided to try to stretch her out. She'll be 6-1 in here. Ricardo Gonzalez, of all people, gets the mount for Bob Baffert, which kind of tells me a little bit about that one as well. Barry, where did you land here? Do you want me to go first? How do we talk about why Sweet Azteca is going to win this race?
I think she checks every single box you could ever want in a horse in a race that you would want to pick to win. There's really no knocks on her. I feel like Noonie is just in here to do the racing office a favor. I'm not really sure why this horse is in this race other than that. They try to get this one to go. I'd honestly be surprised if this horse actually runs. But that being said, they really are going to have their hard time with Sweet Azteca. This horse's best races have come at this track at this distance. The only other horse that could give her a run is Grand Slam Smile, who I think is just a turf runner. Does have some form on the dirt, and is probably better than the majority of these horses in this race. But I just don't think they have the chops to hang with a horse like Sweet Aztec at this trip. If it were a mile, I'd probably give Grand Slam Smile a better chance. But here we are. So it's Sweet Azteca to the hoop, single. Let's go.
So you've got like 3 horses going off at like 1-9 on this card.
2, actually.
Okay. All right. I felt like there was one earlier in the card as well. You went 1, 3, 5. I went 1, 2, and 5. I'll make the case for Magnificat, who won the Desert Stormer last out. That's my case.
All right.
She won the Desert Stormer, which, by the way, Omaha Beach probably should win, right? If you're going to storm something, you should probably be Omaha Beach, right? I mean, let's just say.
Yeah,
right?
I would think so. Yeah, that's only fitting.
I feel like that's a good joke for me.
Yeah.
There you are. Yes. July 4, all the things. No.
I'll give you that.
Antonio Fraser riding the late pick 3. Late pick 3. He'll be on board for Magnificat there. As you mentioned, I mean, Grand Slam Smile. I would absolutely put this horse in this race too. So I'm like, I know we're not hating on the connections at all, right? I mean, go get the second place check, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, it's like there's really no downside to them running in this race for them, you know.
The horse has already graded stakes placed twice. I mean, this horse was right there in the Royal Heroine and the Buena Vista. I mean, like, yeah, just go get the check. That's how.
Right, and I think that's what they're doing. They don't even have to run very hard to beat most of these horses. Honestly, you know, they could probably cruise and get that second place check without much effort. Same thing with the 1. I mean, that's definitely happened. They could just cruise up to the front by themselves and just run 1-2 around the track, which I think it might end up being that way. I used the 3 in there, prancing through Paris. This horse likes to close a little bit, has some races to go to, seems to like this track a little bit,
I agree.
and on the dirt. So we'll give that one a shot to get in that number and make it a little interesting.
1, 3, and 5 for Barry, 1, 2, and 5 for me in the Great Lady M, the Grade 2 event tomorrow at Los Alamitos. The closer will be race 9, a mile on the dirt, Barry, back to the 20,000 level, and we are on the male side of things, 3 and up on the Calbred front, 51,000 on the line here, part of that really great sequence to close. You've gone first on the last couple, so I'll go first here. We agree on the top horse for us is the 5, Fight Back, Armando Ayuso, who apparently is going to win the riding title if we're right. This horse is 1-2 in a row. That's at the 20 and 25 claiming level there at Santa Anita Park. And that's against Open Company. It gets driven back into Calbred Company here. And so this is one that breaks its maiden at the maiden 20. They go ahead and claim this one out. Did Anthony Mathis and his team, which they do at a very good level. And frankly, they do it in a way that they don't pay when they come back. Like, he spots his horses that well. And so this is one that I think everyone needs to have an eye on. And the works recently have been stellar. This is a quick horse. Should be part of the equation for the end there. I love the 5-1 number. And these sons and daughters of Mrazek are more than capable of getting the mile distance. And certainly the tap it on the damn side makes me feel good about that as well. I went to the 1 horse next, Barry, and then we'll get to you in Naftis. And Barry, I'm really trying to figure out how this one is 20-1, other than maybe the connections or something like that, because as we get to a mile with this horse, who's finished second 3 times, has a win at the distance in 4 tries, has 2 second-place finishes at Los Al against thoroughbreds, and has a win at Santa Anita going a mile in 1:39, which I think will be around the time that you need for this. I just think Naftis has a massive ability, opportunity to hit the board here, at least. If not, go ahead and do something more than that. Horse, like I said, been very good at a mile. The horse doesn't win too often, of course. That's why it's in this company. But man, I think Cesar Belmont can get this one at least in the picture. And this was one that's not afraid to get the lead, Barry. And once in a while, horses just get a lead, they keep it. That might be Naftis in here. I think that one's pretty fascinating at a number. 20-1 is a stunning. I don't get it kind of number with that horse, but I'll 5-1.
I get it. There's a lot of speed in here. I mean, Otto's Magic is coming out of 6 furlong races. Majestic Palisades is going to put a lot of pressure on that horse. Has been running faster races in general. It's going to be, they're going to be up against it. 21 is around there. I'd say 15-1 would probably be a better number, but they're not without a shot. Don't get me wrong, because we've seen races where, on paper, everybody's supposed to go. Nobody goes. One horse goes, and they just go wire to wire. This could be that kind of situation because everybody's so inconsistent, and it could be one of those situations where, hey, Otto's Magic, they might think that they need to go a little bit slower in order to win a race like this and sort of concede the lead to someone else. And when that happens, that's where a lot of chaos happens, and horses like Naftis can actually win.
5, 10, and 4 for you. The 10 horse is coming off the layoff here from that Golden State Juvenile, but was a runner in the Grade 3 Del Mar Juvenile Turf as well. Broke its maiden at Del Mar in Maine Specialty Company. That is Love the Pressure. Michael McCarthy trainee here. What do you like about this one?
Yeah, this horse, could have improved while going over a surface they didn't like when they broke the maiden. And then they just got thrown into the deep waters on the way outside in the Del Mar Juvenile Turf, which is a Grade 3 event won by Hey Nene, who's a pretty good horse. And Plutarch was behind that, and Proletariat, who are pretty decent on the turf. Then they go in the Golden State Juvenile, draw poorly again, and get thumped. This is a way more winnable spot, even though they drew poorly again. Just that experience might put them in range here for a decent run. They'll definitely have to work out a trip, and I wouldn't take too much lower than that 8-1, especially if you're playing on top. That horse is very interesting. Probably a horse that I'm going to keep an eye on after this race more than I am going to pay attention during this race.
That makes sense. All right. Well, Love the Pressure. We'll break from the 10. We both have the 4 in our handicapping, Barry. That is nowhere. Edgar Payeras shows up again for us here. This was a winner on the turf. Did try the dirt before under Edgar and finished second in a maiden run. I just think is live at this distance and frankly hasn't done enough wrong for me to count this one out.
Yes, I agree. And I think this horse needs a target. I don't think they do their best running on the lead. So
Interesting. Okay.
that might kind of throw some horse players off, because you see that race they ran on May 15th to break their maiden. This horse had a really good trip and finished well. I think that's the kind of trip they want and the kind of trip they need. You see, after that, they went in the 50K, the start allowance 50K, and they went to the front, ran really well, but I think they need a target, and they might be able to get a really good trip here at a price. I think they're definitely going to get most of that 12-1, because this horse really doesn't have much of a body of work here. Not that they really need it in a race like this, but you can see horses that have been battle tested in here, with 20 plus starts and things like that this horse is against it. I mean, JT's Watch has 64 starts compared to Nowhere's 5. So that does factor in. And, obviously a 3-year-old going against older elders. But this race isn't that strong, and I would give a horse like Nowhere a shot in this one.
JT's Watch, man, that horse might win. Actually, there's a world in which that horse picks this race off for sure.
Why not? Especially in the last race.
Yeah, that's exactly right. By the way, Barry, we got set the overnight for Sunday at Los Alamitos. It is like the pick six is all 12 horse fields.
Oh,
like all. I don't. Sunday, I honestly, like, we're gonna have Saratoga during the day, and then we're gonna have Los Al in the afternoon, and it's gonna be. I mean, it's just a spectacular card. So
this is what summer racing is all about.
all those owners and traders are like, oh right, Del Mar, crap. All right, we got one more day. Let's go. Let's get over to Cyprus. Is exactly what seems.
And we're gonna get Gulfstream on Mondays too.
Oh, that's right. At Ellis Park. At Ellis, baby.
Yeah, right. See?
Ellis Steaks on Sundays.
Oh man.
It's D-Gen season, y'all. I mean, it's always D-Gen season. All right, he's Barry Spears. I'm Willie Ramone.
Indiana Derby.
Indiana Derby next week. You'll catch us, at least Josh Rodriguez and me, on the Indiana Derby draw. The plan is sometime around 2:30 on Monday that I will get back to the racing office after doing 2 shows there at Horseshoe. I'll probably be on the simulcast later in the day to go through the field with you as well. But be looking for Josh, be looking for me there on that broadcast. And of course, next Saturday, week from tomorrow, we'll be up there live underneath the awning from 11 to noon. If you want to come find us and watch, hang out with us. And of course, just hang out throughout the day. We're going to be up there. Horse Racing Happy Hour, me, Barry, and of course, Josh Rodriguez alongside you, the team from Happy Hour, Indiana. For Barry Spears, I'm Blue Rebel. Thanks for hanging out with us. We'll see you next week for the Indiana Derby. But of course, we'll be right here for this show as well. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. This has been SoCal Saturdays.